They hunted him down.
You know, Colonel, we went to a lot of trouble to find you.
They murdered his friends.
Arnold Schwarzenegger tossed a phone booth off a cliff, mowed down an entire army with a belt-fed machine gun, and delivered one-liners that became legendary. Commando hit theaters in October 1985 and turned into one of the most quotable action films ever made. It earned over $57 million worldwide on a modest budget and cemented Arnold's status as the king of 80s action cinema. But beneath all that gunfire, this movie is packed with mistakes, Easter eggs that even fans completely missed. From continuity errors to improvised moments, Commando is a treasure trove of hidden details. Some of them are hilarious, some of them completely change how you watch the film, and a few of them reveal just how chaotic and insane the production really was. Before we dive in, comment below which Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie is your all-time favorite, and please click like and subscribe for more deep dives into classic action cinema. Today we're breaking down 18 hidden details from Commando that you completely missed. Let's get into it. Number 1. The phantom Porsche that changed colors mid-chase. Early in the film, Sully kidnaps Arnold's daughter, Jenny, and drives off in a yellow Porsche 914. Arnold and Rae-Dawn Chong pursue him through the streets of Los Angeles in a high-speed chase that tears through traffic. But watch the chase closely. When Sully first pulls away from the kidnapping scene at the shopping mall, he's driving a yellow Porsche. Cut to the chase sequence moments later as they barrel through downtown traffic, and the car has mysteriously transformed into a silver Porsche. Then, by the time Arnold rips Sully out of the vehicle at the cliff edge overlooking the Pacific Ocean, the car is yellow again. The production team used multiple Porsches during filming and didn't bother to match paint jobs. The stunt coordinator later admitted they assumed the chase would move too fast for anyone to notice the color swap. It's one of the most blatant continuity errors in action movie history. Eagle-eyed fans caught it on home video, and it became one of the most mocked mistakes in 80s action cinema. Number 2. The phone booth that refused to stay dead. Arnold drives his Cadillac through a phone booth, obliterating it in a shower of glass and metal. The phone booth explodes on impact, scattering debris across the road. But just seconds later, when the camera cuts to a different angle of the same intersection, the phone booth is standing there perfectly intact, as if nothing happened. There's no sign of damage. Film editors later admitted this was a continuity nightmare caused by shooting the chase over multiple days with different camera setups. They filmed the destruction on day 1, then came back for additional angles from different positions. Nobody bothered to remove the phone booth for the second round. The editors hoped audiences would be too distracted by the speed and chaos to notice the impossible resurrection. They were spectacularly wrong. Fans spotted it opening weekend. Number 3. The soldier who died twice in the same battle. During the climactic assault on General Arias's island compound, Arnold storms through the enemy military base, mowing down soldiers left and right with assault rifles, grenades, and improvised weapons. But if you watch closely during the firefight inside the main barracks building, you'll see the same background actor getting shot and falling to the ground twice in 2 completely different parts of the scene. He dies once near the doorway, collapsing dramatically, then appears again just 10 seconds later, dying behind a stack of ammunition crates on the opposite side of the room. Same uniform, same facial features, same death animation. The production didn't have enough stunt performers to fill every death scene in the massive final battle sequence. They reused the same extras multiple times throughout the compound assault. The director assumed the action would move too fast for anyone to notice. He severely underestimated how many times obsessive fans would rewatch this film frame by frame. Number 4. The steam pipe that defied the laws of physics. When Arnold impales an enemy soldier with a pressurized steam pipe in the industrial boiler room section of the compound. The pipe punctures the soldier's chest and releases superheated steam directly into his face. But here's the thing that ruins the effect once you notice it. In the first shot, the steam is blasting out horizontally from the pipe in a powerful jet. In the very next shot, from a different angle, the steam is shooting straight up toward the ceiling of the boiler room. Then it cuts back to horizontal again. This continuity error happened because the special effects team used different steam generation rigs for different camera angles. One rig shot steam horizontally for close-ups while another shot it vertically for wide shots. Nobody in post-production ever bothered to make sure the direction matched between takes. It's a small detail in the chaos of the scene, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. Number 5. Bennett's chainmail was real medieval armor, and it nearly killed the stunt coordinator. Vernon Wells wore actual authentic medieval chainmail armor during the climactic final fight scene with Arnold in the steam-filled boiler room. They sourced genuine steel chainmail from a military antiques dealer. The armor weighed over 35 pounds and covered Wells from neck to thighs. During the early rehearsals for the fight choreography, the stunt coordinator volunteered to wear the chainmail to test how it would move during combat. He took a practice hit from a prop weapon and immediately collapsed, gasping for air. The combined weight of the chainmail and the impact of the blow compressed his ribcage so severely that it knocked the wind out of him and bruised 3 ribs. Filming had to stop for over 2 hours while paramedics checked him for serious injuries. Vernon Wells later said the armor was so crushingly heavy that he could barely move during the actual fight choreography with Arnold. Every punch, every throw, every grapple was exponentially harder because he was carrying an extra 35 pounds of medieval steel. That's why Bennett's movements look slow and lumbering compared to Matrix's speed. Wells was genuinely struggling to stay upright under the weight while fighting Arnold. Number 6. Arnold's body count doesn't add up and the studio lied about it. The movie's promotional campaign and theatrical posters heavily promoted Commando's insane body count, with the studio claiming that Arnold killed over 85 people on screen. Fans and film critics took that claim seriously and started meticulously counting every single death during its theatrical run. The real confirmed number? Exactly 74 kills. This includes every soldier killed during the compound assault, all the kidnappers and henchmen throughout the film, Sully falling off the cliff, and Bennett being impaled on the steam pipe in the final fight. The studio deliberately inflated the number by over 10 kills to make the movie sound even more extreme and record-breaking. They wanted Commando to claim the title of most on-screen kills by a single protagonist in action movie history. But the real number of 74 is still absurdly high for one person in a single film, and cemented Arnold's reputation as the ultimate one-man army. Number 7. The famous line that almost didn't happen and became iconic by accident. When Arnold drops Sully off the cliff edge and Ray Dawn Chong's character Cindy asks in horror what happened to him, Arnold delivers one of the most iconic one-liners in action movie history with perfect deadpan timing. "I let him go." That line wasn't in the script. The scripted response was a generic quip about justice that test audiences absolutely hated during early screenings. Arnold improvised the "let him go" line during a late-night rehearsal session, and director Mark Lester loved it so much that he immediately demanded a reshoot of the scene to capture it properly. Arnold wanted something that sounded casual, darkly funny, and completely indifferent, like John Matrix genuinely didn't care that he had just murdered a man by dropping him hundreds of feet onto jagged rocks. The delivery is so perfectly deadpan and expertly timed that it became one of the most quoted lines from the entire film, right alongside "I'll be back" and "Let off some steam, Bennett." Number 8. The deleted alternate ending that would have fundamentally changed everything. The original cut included a radically different ending sequence that completely altered the film's tone and John Matrix's character arc. Matrix doesn't retire peacefully back to his secluded mountain compound with his daughter Jenny. Instead, a shadowy government operative approaches him at the airport with a classified dossier, recruiting him for another mission. A black-suited operative approaches him at the airport and hands him a classified dossier, implying Matrix is being pulled back into Black Ops. The scene was clearly designed to set up a potential sequel. Test audiences at preview screenings absolutely despised this ending. They had spent 90 minutes watching Matrix fight to save his daughter and escape his violent past. Seeing him get dragged right back into that world felt like a betrayal of the entire emotional journey. The negative feedback was so overwhelming that the studio ordered expensive reshoots within weeks. The ending was completely changed to the version we know today, with Matrix and Jenny reuniting at the airport and flying home together to their peaceful mountain retreat. Number 9. Rae-Dawn Chong broke her wrist during filming and kept working through the pain. During the intense fight scene inside Sully's cramped apartment, Rae-Dawn Chong's character Cindy takes a brutal hit from one of the henchmen and crashes violently into a wooden dining table. The stunt was supposed to be softened by breakaway furniture designed to collapse on impact and absorb the force. But it didn't collapse properly. She slammed into solid hardwood with nothing to cushion the blow and fractured her left wrist on impact. She didn't realize how severely she was injured until after the scene wrapped and the adrenaline from filming wore off. By then, the throbbing pain had become unbearable. Doctors at the emergency room confirmed a hairline fracture requiring immediate immobilization. But the production schedule for Commando was so brutally tight that shutting down filming wasn't an option. The studio would have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in delays. Chong made the decision to keep filming with her wrist heavily taped and strategically hidden from camera angles. If you watch her scenes closely in the second half, she barely uses her left hand at all. Number 10. The hardware store fight was completely improvised on location. The hardware store scene where Arnold and Cindy grabbed gardening tools, axes, and circular saws to fend off Sully's attackers was nowhere in the original shooting script. The scripted sequence had them fighting with their bare fists in a generic parking lot. When the film crew finally arrived at the filming location in the valley, they discovered a hardware store next door. The location scout approached the store owner and asked if they could possibly shoot inside for a few hours. The owner, a huge action movie fan, agreed immediately and even offered to keep the store closed for the entire day. Director Mark Lester saw the aisles packed with potential weapons and decided on the spot to completely rewrite the scene. Arnold and the stunt team improvised the entire fight choreography in under 2 hours, grabbing rakes, shovels, pitchforks, and saw blades off the shelves and incorporating them into the combat. The scene became one of the most creative and memorable fight sequences in the film. Number 11. Arnold ad-libbed almost half of his legendary one-liners. The original script was packed with action, but the dialogue was thin. Arnold recognized this early and started improvising one-liners during takes to inject personality and dark humor into John Matrix's character. Lines like, "Don't disturb my friend, he's dead tired after killing a guard," "I eat Green Berets for breakfast" during the interrogation scene, and "Let off some steam, Bennett," right before the final kill, were all pure Arnold improvisation. None of those lines existed in the script. The writers and director Mark Lester loved the improvisation so much that they actively encouraged Arnold to keep going and think up new ones between takes. By the end of principal photography, nearly half of the film's most quotable and beloved lines were ad-libs that Arnold came up with on set or during rehearsals. He approached John Matrix like a comic book superhero who needed to deliver a punchline after every major kill to maintain the film's playful tone. Number 12. The plane that never actually took off and fooled everyone. We see the airliner carrying Matrix to Valverde taxiing and taking off from Los Angeles International Airport. Matrix escapes before takeoff by killing the guard sitting next to him and jumping out of the landing gear wheel well while the plane is still moving. Watch closely and see the plane's landing gear is still fully extended and locked in the down position when it allegedly lifts off and climbs into the sky over Los Angeles. No commercial airliner in existence can achieve liftoff with its landing gear fully deployed. The aerodynamic drag would make it physically impossible. The production used stock footage of a plane taxiing on the runway and cleverly edited it together with separately filmed shots of Arnold inside a mock-up wheel well built on a soundstage. They never actually filmed a real plane taking off for this sequence. The entire escape is an editing trick that relies on rapid cuts and strategic camera angles to hide the fact that the plane never leaves the ground. Number 13. You can clearly see Arnold's stunt double in the rocket launcher scene. When Arnold fires the M72 Law at the watchtower during the final assault, there's a brief but unmistakable moment where the camera shows him from behind as he hoists the heavy weapon onto his shoulder and takes aim. That's his stunt double, and the difference is obvious. The double is noticeably shorter by at least 3 inches, has a completely different body build with narrower shoulders and moves with entirely different body mechanics. The shot lasts less than 2 full seconds, but eagle-eyed action movie fans spotted it immediately on opening weekend. The editors tried to hide the double by keeping the shot relatively dark and cutting away quickly, but the lighting is too bright. You can see the double's face in profile for a split second as he turns. Number 14. The rocket launcher reload that completely breaks the laws of physics. Arnold fires an M72 Law at a guard tower, obliterating it in a fireball. The tower collapses in burning debris. The tower collapses in a shower of burning debris. Then, just seconds later in the very next shot, Arnold swings the exact same launcher around and fires a second rocket at a completely different target across the compound without reloading or swapping weapons. The M72 LAW that Arnold is clearly holding is a disposable one-shot weapon designed for exactly one use. Once you fire the rocket, the launcher tube is completely useless and must be discarded. You physically cannot reload it or fire it again. The production assumed audiences wouldn't know the difference between different types of military hardware. Most casual viewers didn't notice the error. But military veterans and weapons experts have been roasting this scene for nearly 40 years. Number 15. The island mansion compound is actually in Southern California, not anywhere near the Caribbean. The villain's military compound on Val Verde looks like a tropical military installation, surrounded by dense jungle vegetation and palm trees. It was built in Burbank with outdoor scenes in the Santa Monica Mountains. The production designers used creative artificial lighting, imported fake palm trees, and extremely strategic camera angles to make the dry chaparral landscape of Southern California look convincingly like a humid Caribbean island. If you study the background vegetation closely during the outdoor combat scenes, you can also often spot California native oak trees, sagebrush, and chaparral plants that would never naturally exist in a tropical environment. The dead giveaway is the soil color and the type of underbrush visible in wide shots. The visual illusion works surprisingly well for most viewers because the intense action sequences move far too fast for viewers to study the scenery. Number 16. Vernon Wells almost didn't get the role of Bennett and fought for months. Vernon Wells auditioned for the role of Bennett multiple times over several months and kept getting rejected by the casting directors. The studio wanted a larger actor to match Arnold's intimidating size and create a visually balanced final confrontation. They worried that Wells, who stood several inches shorter than Arnold and had a leaner build, wouldn't look threatening enough on screen. But Wells kept coming back to auditions, persistently arguing that Bennett should be visibly smaller and scrappier to create a compelling visual contrast with Matrix. He believed the fight would be more interesting if Bennett looked physically outmatched, but remained dangerous because of his superior combat skills and ruthlessness. Director Mark Lester eventually agreed with Wells's vision and cast him over the loud objections of studio executives. Wells later revealed the heavy chainmail costume was chosen specifically to make him appear bulkier on screen. Number 17. The film's commercial success directly influenced the screenplay for Die Hard. When Die Hard was in development, the writers extensively studied the writers studied Commando to understand what specific elements made a successful crowd-pleasing action movie. They all truly loved the one-man army concept and Arnold's rapid-fire one-liners, but they deliberately wanted to ground the action in a much more realistic and claustrophobic setting. John McClane was consciously written as the complete opposite of John Matrix. Where Matrix is a superhuman special forces killing machine who never gets injured and mows down armies without breaking a sweat, McClane is a regular street cop who bleeds profusely, limps around on broken glass, and barely survives each encounter through luck and desperation. The writers even joked during development meetings that Die Hard was essentially Commando trapped inside a single building. The influence is obvious. Both feature a lone hero fighting overwhelming odds. Both rely heavily on quotable one-liners. Both end with the hero reuniting with a loved one after total carnage. Number 18. Arnold's most famous catchphrase from the film was born from pure frustration with production chaos. The line, "I'll be back," appears in Commando before it became Arnold's signature and legendary catchphrase in The Terminator. But it was almost cut. Arnold was frustrated because the script kept changing and the schedule was chaotic. He ad-libbed the "I'll be back" line as a sarcastic jab at the unstable production conditions, joking about constantly reshooting scenes. Director Mark Lester thought the delivery was hilarious and spontaneously decided to keep it in the film. When the Terminator made the line iconic, the studio deliberately re-edited Commando during post-production to emphasize Arnold saying it, hoping to capitalize on the catchphrase's explosive popularity and recognition. So there you have it. 18 hidden details, mistakes, and behind-the-scenes secrets from Commando that completely change how you watch one of the most ridiculous, quotable, and gloriously entertaining action movies ever made. From blatant continuity errors to improvised iconic moments, Commando has controlled chaos that leaned into absurdity with zero apologies. But what do you think? Did we miss any hidden details or production secrets that deserve to be on this list? What's your personal favorite scene from Commando, and do you think modern action movies have lost the unique charm of practical effects, dangerous stunts, and perfectly delivered one-liners? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. We genuinely love hearing from action movie fans who appreciate the classics. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more detailed breakdowns of the greatest action films ever made. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.